Ignition, 3, 2, 1. We've got RIP Takeoff. We've got RIP Takeoff. Welcome to another edition of Live, the Self Luv Show podcast. Today is Terrence Howard, Madman or Genius. Big ups to Joe Rogan. We're unpacking that in the series. This is part 2 of 3. Riveting. Stand by as we pay some bills. So big ups to Karen. That's our intern. Karen, stop calling the police on people and please let's get the show started. Y'all like, show, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. As we share this link ourselves and pay some bills in between time. Yes, sir. Big ups, Karen. I ain't getting no volume, though, Karen. Hey, Karen, can you turn the camera on? All right, you guys, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. I forgot to give you guys the disclaimer. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and are not necessarily reflective of TATN or any of its affiliates out here.
In transaction. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transaction. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
And even in this instance, if I could be a service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else because it's coming from you.
Thanks.
A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
It's gotta come from inside, y'all. Free to go. I don't want the blue or the red pill. Give me the perky. Free Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. Free all the guys. Yes, sir. We in the building. We are in this joint. Yes, sir. Let's wake them up.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Let's welcome
is
up.
what we represent.
Welcome to
It's the Self Luv Show.
Show on This Ain't That Network, as we call it, TATN.
It's the Self Luv Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Luv Show. The Self Luv Show.
This is a safe space where we explore captivating topics that expand our community's minds and ignite curiosity. This is one of the co-hosts, 9 Millie. All praise to the ancestors, the Most High, and my late beloved Mama Sky. Big ups. Terrence Howard, born on 3/11/69 in the Windy City. He's led a remarkable life. He's raised in Cleveland. He faced a tumultuous childhood marked by alleged physical abuse from his father. Despite these challenges, Howard's in physical abuse. That's how awareness are created. Just wanted to put a pin there. Howard's love for acting blossomed during summers spent with his great grandmother, New York stage actress Minnie.
Something going on. Your audio, it's not coming through all the way. It's breaking up.
I wonder why.
I don't know what that's about.
All of a sudden, huh? All right, 1 2, mic check. 1 2, mic check. Same thing happening. Same thing, huh?
No, it wasn't while we were conversating all the time.
Is it still doing it
No, it was only doing it when you're playing
when the music's playing?
Yeah.
Is it still doing it? 1 2 1 2.
It's the Self Love Show.
Check check.
No, they ain't doing it. You got to keep talking because
1 2, microphone check. 1 2 1 2, microphone check. All right, we're gonna move on.
yeah.
I think I was getting feedback coming from headphones back into the mic.
It sounded different. It was cutting out parts of the words.
Maybe there was some feedback loop. All right, appreciate that. Terrence Howard was born 3/11, 1969 in the Windy City. He's led a remarkable life. He was raised in Cleveland. He faced a tumultuous childhood marked by physical abuse, allegedly from his dad. Despite these challenges, Howard's love for acting transformed during summer spent with his great-grandmother, New York stage actress Minnie Renterie. His journey from those difficult beginnings to becoming an Oscar-nominated actor is a testament to his resilience, talent, and intelligence. Known for roles in movies like Crash. Crash is one of the most underrated movies of all time. Ray and Iron Man, he's recently captured attention with some rather unconventional music, from deep dives into geometry, ancient philosophy, and quantum physics to claims about discovering new wave conjugations. Howard's mind is a fascinating blend of creativity and curiosity out there. But is he a madman or a genius?
Hey, yo.
What's up, man?
Hey, hit mute there, fella. Hit the mute there, fella.
Oh, sorry.
Hit the mute.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'll mute
I'm not
you.
on.
That you know that
All right. Ray and Iron Man, who's recently captured attention with some rather unconventional musings, from deep dives into geometry, ancient philosophy, and quantum physics, claims about discovering new wave conjugations. His mind is a fascinating blend of creativity and curiosity. Is he a madman or is he a genius? Let's explore the enigma that is Terrence Howard. So fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a thought-provoking ride. This is the Self Love Show, and this is the revolution. But the revolution will not be on YouTube. These are lectures. We're live in the living color. Today is Tuesday, June 25, 24. You're 6 months away from the pagan holiday, Big Christmas. And as always, you cats can be anywhere in this magnanimous universe, but thankfully, we all chose to be here together, together. Bear down, bear down.
Yep.
Hey, what you and Bob yapping about? I had to put you on mute, man.
Yeah, because I thought I was on mute.
All the business is on public.
Yeah, I was on mute. I looked up, I saw it said host. I said, oh shit, I was on the damn air calling me during the goddamn show.
It's all good. Hey, so what's been
Nothing
going
but love.
on?
You gotta sometimes you gotta
fella.
handle business more than one time. And y'all know how we do. It's the Self Love Show.
So what's been going on in your neck of the shot here, fella?
Well, we released a song Friday. Eddie Sevo and myself. And yes, it's been pushing it out and it's been going well. So basically that's what I've been on. And then this week we have Ancestral Echoes. It's going down. It's this weekend, y'all.
It is going down. The Self Love Show will be live and in effect.
Yep.
In the building.
Down as it's going up.
Anybody want to catch that fade? That's where you come. I'm going to be out there. So any internet personality, I roll by God play, not gunplay. So you just go ahead and you bring your hands. You want to catch that fade? You come on out there. We'll smoke one and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? We'll see if you can't catch a fade.
Nobody wants that smoke.
Yeah, love, honor, and respect.
All the time. That's how we do.
Yeah, we're just talking excrement. All righty, there's just things to do on the internet. This is where you come and talk excrement. Yeah, but I agree. Nobody's coming anywhere near the city of Chicago. That's for sure. All right, but what to expect on the Self Luv Show? We always started out with a quote of the day, and then we have our more growth and development platform video. It takes about 55 seconds of your time, which, think about it, it's either infinite or it doesn't exist. And then you got Tattoo Tyranny, Dome Teaser, which is a riddle because your mind is a terrible thing to waste. We'll give you a chance to matriculate the answer. If you can't come up with it, I'll give you the answer, but normally the co-host comes up with it. I do not expect anyone to get it today, but we'll see. The topic, Terrence Howard, madman or genius? This is part 2 of a 3-part riveting series. We're going to unpack that. Please smash that like button. Let's get him in here. If y'all know Terrence Deshaun Howard, y'all hit him up. Let's get him in the building. We'll drop the link for him in there, and he can pull up. We'll sit here and let him talk. That's what we'll do. We're prepared to sit here and let Terrence Howard talk. All righty. All right. Anybody doing quantum physics or any philosophers or anybody like that? Maybe used to watch his movies. Interact. Hit that chat. Let us know what's going down. Enough of my yapping out there. Turn it over to this brother so he can handle his business.
Yes, y'all. Don't stop. Self Luv Show rocks on. Today, going to part 2 of Terrence Howard, Madman or Genius. This interview on the Joe Rogan show. It's going to be action-packed. As always, we have a very important video that we'd love for you to pay close attention to. The Silverback More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self Love Nation up of. And as always, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. And every person we meet, there's a little piece of God in them. And that's who you talk to. And that's the only person that you allow to talk to you. When something else is speaking, you walk away from that. If it's not good, if it's not love, you walk away from it. And once again,
everybody in the community can use this here and say, if he's flashing out and disrespecting me, and I disrespect me, I pulled out that pistol and pistol whipped his baby mama. Go ahead, bro.
Every person we meet, there's a little piece of God in them. And that's who you talk to. And that's the only person that you allow to talk to you. When something else is speaking, you walk away from that. If it's not good, if it's not love, you walk away from it. Terrence Howard.
Well, interesting.
Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3,
it's a movement.
Accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
And number 10,
Protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary.
1 million%. 1 million%, y'all. And if y'all didn't check in last week, the live stream is still up. The life and times of Eddie Sevo Entertainment. Hip hop's Bernie Mac out there. Let me say this. He's from the West Side, and he has confirmed scientifically. That he prefers Harold's Fried Chicken Shack. He didn't even specify a number either, so he didn't even specify a number. He probably don't know the
He's
difference.
from the West Side, but he lived on.
He don't know the difference.
Yeah, he probably does. He stayed on 87th and
he's got a West Side palate. He's got Uncle Remus palate. He doesn't know.
Hey, he lived on there for a long time. I didn't, I didn't know he's from the West Side. When I met him, he was living over there on 87th. He lived there for quite some time, and then he moved to 72nd. He didn't move to the West Side.
Well, that wasn't the biggest takeaway from the show, but that was
not at all.
He dropped some powerful gems, man.
No doubt.
Yeah, big ups to him, and that one was a long time coming. And Eddie, you're always welcome back. I had a great time, and you know what I'm saying. Thanks for confirming that, though. Really meant a lot. Because he's a hybrid, I'm a hybrid. You know what I mean? I understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I confirm Harold's is better. And mainly the chicken is bigger. Yeah, well, we don't want to get into it right now.
And they got more steroids in the chicken out there, the South Side out there.
All right, so if you want me to put it in a level, you'd have Kurt's, Uncle Remus, and then Harold's. You know what I mean? If all of them are sitting right next to each other,
yeah.
All things considered, you're not a college kid living off pennies. You know what I mean? You'd probably go to Harold's, but if that line was a little too long, you're getting that wing. Nah, because we ran out of white meat because the chicken ain't and then you're gonna slip over there and then maybe go to Leon's. You know what I mean? If Leon's ain't over there, you're gonna slide on over there and go to Uncle Remus.
Well, to be honest, coming up, Leon's to beat them all.
Because they had the biggest pieces of chicken. Now, what I used to do,
and we could walk there.
You can walk there. I'd go to Leon's and tell them, you know what? You put that sauce on the side. And then I'd be savvy and I'd get some of that Harold sauce out there, and I'd put some of that Harold sauce, the mouth, over that Leon's chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying, growing up,
summertime shy.
We were walking when I was younger.
I bet if this guy opens his window right now, summertime shy, and takes a deep gander, takes a deep breath, and creates electricity, according to Terrence Howard, he'd smell some chicken. I guarantee he's gonna smell fried chicken if he takes a deep breath outside right now. And I'm not being racial. It
might not be fried either. It could just be chicken because it's barbecue grills going these days. It's 80-something degrees here right now.
It's more likely not to be fried unless you're somewhere near one of those
businesses, establishments out there.
Yeah. All right, we can talk chicken all day, obviously, and watermelon too. So
I ain't ate no chicken in I don't know how long. And
Juneteenth. All right, we're moving on. All right. We had the poll question, man. You guys, it's not too late. You have to go to the community tab. And the poll question is Terrence Howard's take on science / creation is your options are utter stupidity, pure unadulterated genius. That was the Dutta man. You guys, for some of you younger kids out there, let's get him some help is another option. Let's protect him at all costs is another option. And finally, it's just another ruse by the so-called elite. Right now, you guys. Wow. Wait a minute. Interesting. This is shaping out. Utter stupidity is at 8%. Pure unadulterated genius is at 33%. Let's get him some help. It's 17%. And I meant psychological help, but see, and I think that's what your boy meant. Man, right. My questions are loaded. He reads a lot into them. Because let's get him some help could mean
let's help him do what he's doing. Yeah. And it could
I meant psychological help.
Yeah.
But let's protect him at all costs. Those people obviously will feel like he's a genius. So that's 58% on the genius side. Another ruse by the elite is at 17%. Other stupidity, 25%. So I think I'd say safe to say about 6 out of 10 are leaning on the genius side, and the other 4 out of 10 are still believing in the pink stink and the Big Bang Theory and everything's random and everything.
And the math that don't always math.
Your math ain't math. Oh, we're covering that today too. He literally
I'm
almost
just
said that,
saying
so
the math
I
don't
thought about
always
you.
don't always math.
He
And
didn't say those
then they
exact
start.
words.
That's when they start creating stuff like
Yeah.
black holes and
Dark matter,
dark matter. That's when that's
gravity,
when the math don't math.
gravity.
When the math don't
The
math,
math
then
don't
they start saying, "Oh, hey, wait a minute, it's this thing going, and this gravity thing that
So if we got to come
it
up with
makes the
something,
math."
we got to come up with something. And the first thing before we come up with the theorem, we got to come up with the name. And I think we're going to call it the wordsmith, the wordsmith 9 mils constant. Yeah, we're going to come up with that. And it, you know what I mean? Nah, that sounds good, don't it? We're going to write a paper on it.
It's gonna be the bullshit that
Send a paper out. Send a paper out to all the scientists.
It's all of the bullshit that makes the math math. If you put this with it, whenever you have those problems, when the math ain't mathing, put that right there.
But that almost sounds like when the preacher says God, or when you were questioning in Bible school as a young lad, and you may have been in theta and your subconscious was just fresh from heaven, and you were questioning all of the nonsense, and they tell you just shut up, it's God. You know what I mean? Shut up, it's the Big Bang. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like, because the scientists say, give me one miracle, which is the Big Bang, and then they say I can explain everything else. And according to Terrence Howard, the math still ain't mathing.
Oh, that math doesn't math at all. The Big Bang, that math doesn't math. And I swear they act like it's a fact. All these things they say like this is what happens. This is what happened, and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Instead of saying the Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
And
before and at the end of it, they should say, now remember, it's just a theory. And they should say allegedly all while they're saying it.
Man.
Right? Allegedly.
That
in my opinion.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but they don't. Now here's consciousness for dummies. Karen, can I get a close up? This is something I'm working on, Self. Maybe this will be the start of the wordsmith. And I promise you guys, we'll get on topic. This will be the start of the wordsmith 9 mils constant. It's called consciousness for dummies. There is no end because there was no beginning. I am frequency, vibration, and electric magnetism. 369. The monkey turns water into wine. Humans being divine is the purpose of mankind. You are one cell in my brain, and I am one cell in your father's brain. Now, you can choose to be benign and you can choose to be malignant. I am consciousness, yours, my father's, and mine. And you're mere scouting vessels, fractals, experiencing reality from a subpar superposition. Row, 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 row your boat, or dare I say vessel, gently, gently down the stream of your and mine and your father's consciousness. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. There it is, Sal. That'll be the intro to the
Well,
wordsmith.
I,
Go
you
ahead.
know,
Go ahead.
I would adjust that there's no beginning and ending. The when the simulation was cut on, whenever that was the beginning, and it was full-fledged when they cut it on. There was no evolution
but somebody cut
evolving
it
into
on.
this.
Somebody
Yes.
cut it on.
Yes,
That's
the
right.
creator of all this.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The beginning. There
Yes.
was no beginning.
Yeah.
That creator has no beginning.
Right.
Because
according
no
to
end.
this. Right. Dealing with this. I got you. I get you.
Well,
so I will agree.
I mean, the ultimate. Or is it just simulations on top of simulations creating simulations, and there just happened to be one simulation, the original simulation,
Whatever
which came
that
from
may
nothing,
be.
and in which case nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you want to be in the simulation.
Well, nothing can come from nothing, and you can't have a mathematical equation that leads to absolutely nothing, I think. And so there's
Well, they've done the theory of everything. Maybe we'd have to add that into our paper.
Terrence Howard. Yeah.
No, the theory of nothing.
Says that.
That's brilliant. The theory of nothing. We can put some letters down and some quotients and stuff like that and send it around as a paper and send it to all the grad students.
No, we and then we figure out the number that makes the math. So the rest of the math acts like the way they want the math to work.
And then when somebody says, "Well, that doesn't work because the math ain't math," and then you have someone else come up and say, "Oh, well, wait a minute, that's the Jasper Smith constant." He comes up with some unknown that makes it work.
The problem that I have with the science and the math is that there's stuff going on in our perception that ignores all of your math and science. Your physics, these we call them UFOs, we call them flying saucers, but they UFOs, what's the other term?
UAPs.
UAP, yeah. So all of those completely destroy any of your science.
All of this. Is that why they just discount it as hogwash?
Yeah, I mean, and because they're so locked in and they want us locked in. I think maybe I'm a little crazy, but I think Terrence Howard is on something because I feel like that he said that it's something about this science and this math that's keeping us locked.
And he said ultimately because they want to keep things linear and they want to answer to the church, and they said he said it had something to do with that cross. I said, son of a, so I was creating in my mind like a cross that's a wave function. You know what I mean? Put on it.
I mean, they put all of
well, there are no straight lines.
Right. I'm saying that, but I'm saying most of trigonometry, that's what I was looking for, is set on it's not really a cross, but there's a zero line and a line, and then the waves fluctuate between positive and
I got to see an honest trig, and then they told me I probably should tap out and not even try calculus. And then once I got to college, they said that wasn't true because one has nothing to do with the other. But go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, fella.
Well, I'm just gonna say that they are full of it on many levels. And like I thought I was a poor writer until I got to college.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "Well, what the hell was they all trying to tell me? They were trying to stop me. I thought I was a poor writer." And I knew all the science and all of that. I knew all of that stuff, better than some of my teachers, Yeah,
you could have been like a Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I mean a real one, not a. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
okay. So like what's his name? Ben Carson.
Oh,
No,
I don't know.
the alien stories.
Oh, he's Ben Carson, you talking about the
I'm not
the
talking about the
surgeon.
brain surgeon. I'm talking about the one that be talking about the Anunnaki. What's his name?
Oh, Billy Carson.
Billy Carson. Yeah, my bad. Hey, say Ben Carson. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I didn't even put them together. When you said him, that's who popped in my brain. Like,
Yeah, I said the wrong
I'm
name.
like,
Just dream it up.
yeah, I don't think I'm on that.
So it's
Yeah.
not too late for y'all to get in the poll, y'all. It's not too late for y'all to get in on the poll.
Participate. We still got another episode coming after this. It's going
That's
to be
right.
very, very interesting.
Yeah. And we're about to get into it shortly. Terrence Howard, Madman or Genius, you guys. This is part 2 of a 3-part riveting series. If you didn't see part 1, catch it after the show. Karen, if you can bring up Brother Wordsworth, did you see this one's Black Cat Has 12 Lives? Have you seen that?
No, this one I'm pretty certain I didn't.
Pick up the Inside Edition, fair use, tattoo tyranny.
A kitten was saved thanks to a trucker and a cop.
I just found a baby kitten in the middle of 441.
He's a truck
Cars
driver.
whizzed past, not noticing the tiny bundle of fur in the middle of the road. Florida's Alachua County Police Department says a truck driver helped to stop the traffic on a highway in order to keep the helpless feline from disaster. Body camera shows an officer walking down the road and scooping up the black and white kitten
Man, to
before
put that thing
radioing
down.
in about his adorable find.
I just found a baby kitten in the middle of 441.
Is it retarded?
After being removed from danger, the kitten went on another adventure. A ride
It didn't
in a
get
police
there on its own,
cruiser.
that's for sure.
According to authorities, the sweet kitten has decided to join the force. The little cat has found a forever home in the family of one of the police dispatchers. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
I'm saying, is it retarded? Well, for special needs. Is the cat special needs?
No, it was a kitten. I don't know. Somebody threw that out there. I don't know how the hell they get out there.
So it doesn't have the natural instinct to get out of the street?
No, it didn't. I don't think it's ever really been in that existence.
You think it was that young?
Yes, that's what it looked like to me.
Wow. Well, we don't
That's
always.
Well, you know cats way better than I do. So I mean that's fact. But that cat looked like it was
That's interesting. That
like
cat's,
somebody threw that out the window and left
Yeah,
it there.
that-
Not like he ran out there.
that cat was like,
That's why he wasn't trying to move around.
that
either.
cat was suicide by street. That cat said, I'm not going through this shit. Probably been through this life before. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I got to get through all these 9 lives as quick as possible. So I can
Whoever
get
threw
back
that
to
motherfucker,
humanity.
whoever threw it out there was the one that was like, if
Okay,
they threw it out a moving car, then they probably wouldn't be moving, trying to
All right,
get
so
away.
let's just suppose you throw it out of a moving car in the middle of the grass. Does it just lay there? How long does it just lay there? That's what I keep asking. Is this cat special needs? I know you keep going back to somebody threw it out. I'm sure it wasn't just okay. Hold it. Your theory, okay. Usually it's a litter of cats.
You asked the question. Yes.
I know. Let me just finish. Usually it's a litter of cats. So someone's thrown out this one cat. Now I'm supposing they probably had other kittens with it. And so if they threw out 6, the other ran off and that one just laid out and said, I give up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't seem natural to just lay in the middle of the street. I've never seen any animal of any age just lay in the middle of the street in nature.
Injured.
And
Animal.
it didn't look injured. They said nothing about an injury. They talked about how it's moving around. They didn't mention it was injured, and they took it to the vet, and it was injured.
It looked like it was not moving when they picked it up.
It wasn't.
That's what.
It's. I don't know. Maybe it was sunstroke. And it was just. I don't know. That it's bad news casting, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You can get tossed out of a moving car and not be injured as a kitten, but I don't know.
Well, you're
I don't
assuming.
know.
Yeah.
I'm making an assumption. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's a cat. Cats can jump out of 12th floor buildings and walk away. You know what I mean?
Kittens, not so much.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll ask the chat. All right, Terrence Howard, Madman or Genius. This is part 2 or 3, Unpacked. Unpack. All right, we got another one for yourself. The Bulls. Your Bulls need a larger stadium out there. Pink on pink, Grind. Pink stink. They like to go out and drink.
Oh, they
have a
went
good-
and traded for Giddy. They're Giddy out there.
Is it P Giddy or R Giddy? Which one do you like better? Think about it while the video plays. They should play one of their music whenever they announce them during the game. He's telling me no, but nobody telling me yet. When he come in there announcing P Giddy, I had a sound, the lights purple and shit. Burn some incense.
What's going on here?
That's it. The Bull.
I know. That's all I did was turn it on, and it did all of that.
A rodeo
Oh,
bull
goodness.
makes a run for it out of the arena and into the
Look at that. They're
crowd.
still partying. They
Wild
don't even
scene
realize
was
what
recorded
happened.
on an attendee's
There's
cell
some over here,
phone.
so don't
It
even
happened in
realize.
Oregon
What are
at
they
the
looking at?
Sisters Rodeo during the final event of the night.
They might
This
have
is
been
video from
enjoying
over the
that.
course of the event in its 84th season. Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA was playing. Everyone seemed to be enjoying the patriotic moment.
God bless
But
the
the
USA.
bull
He's like,
apparently
I gotta get
wasn't
out of here,
having
this
it and
bullshit.
tried to escape.
He ain't trying to escape what he made.
3 people were hurt and 2 were taken to the hospital. In a statement,
Yeah,
the
'cause that's
Sisters
a
Rodeo
bull.
Association said the rodeo announcer immediately activated the emergency response plan.
They're gonna have to raise
Rodeo
that fence.
livestock professionals quickly responded to safely contain the bull. This is Inside Edition Digital.
I wonder how long that bull's been working on that. You know, that bull's they like inmates. That bull's probably like I think I can jump that fence, homie. You can't get your big ass up. I'm telling you, I've been working out. I gotta lose a little weight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kick one of them in their head.
That was wild, because that fence is nowhere near tall enough. I mean, obviously, because they must think all of the bulls are, in hive mentality or something. Because that boy was just like, he hopped that no problem, and sprung off it.
I mean, if you die in a bull torturing event, how do you feel? You know what I mean? How do you feel in that moment? By the bull, at the hands of the bull. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is the bull wrong?
No, the bull's never wrong.
You were there to watch the bull get tortured to death. Well, maybe not. That's a rodeo. That's not running with the bulls.
Right. That's not. That wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
they weren't gonna have somebody with Ole!
Start stabbing it. Yeah, but
No,
obviously
it wasn't that.
All right, we're spearing it to death. But obviously, the bull isn't happy about it.
No, the bull. I don't think any animal, domesticated or not, is going to be completely happy being controlled and told what to do.
Yeah. How would you like it, Self? If some smaller, say if the pygmies are still alive, all right, big ups to the pygmies. Say if the pygmies are still running around Earth, Self, and you walk around, and the pygmies were in control, right? The pygmies are in control, and we were walking around wild, and the pygmies had to jump on you. You're trying to get this pygmy up off you, you know what I mean? And all the little pygmies are watching in the stands. Yeah, you probably jump that fence, try to kick one of the little pygmies in the head.
I don't know where the bull was going, but I think he knew the way out. Because he was very specific.
He didn't look like he was attacking people. Yeah, only 3 people
where
got
he jumped.
Yeah.
He jumped over,
Didn't
then his back legs.
That's what I said.
Launched off off the gate. So I think he knew where he was going.
Yeah, looks like that was premeditated.
Those people weren't really, they were just in a way.
And he did it when all the clowns were on the other side of the thing. Them clowns had to run. They
out of there.
Running to get it. Yeah, he knew the whole. And then when you run over there, one of the bulls was like, we keep clowns busy over here. You know what I mean? Yeah. He got out of there. Big ups to the bulls and our Giddy. I think Giddy would be a good addition. You're stuck with Levine. You have to move off the Rosen.
He's getting tested and
yeah.
He's in free agency. So
who? DeRozan? Yeah, he turned down.
Yeah.
He should have never turned down the $40 million. The Bulls should have never offered him that money. And then when he doesn't get it, he's going to come back and the Bulls are still going to give him the same money. They don't know how to hold spite. I'm not saying they should, but as an organization,
I don't know.
You
I think they, I don't know. We'll see.
you wouldn't be in this.
I guess they probably would give them the same money. They say, hey,
Yeah, they
well, this
would.
is what we were offering you in the
They
first
would.
place.
They did it to Levine. You know, Levine wanted to go out there and get courted. They offered him the max money more than any other team can offer him. He said he looked them up and down like they were short. Him and his agent, they walked out of there and they said, we want to go get courted. He went out there, couldn't get the deal, came back to the Bulls, and they gave him the same money. I don't know who taught them how to negotiate, but you know what I mean? You've been courted. Can you get the deal? You can't get nothing. Like, you know, like, in other words, you go get courted, I'm paying you $50 million less a year, something. I mean, not 50 million less, but 10 million less a year.
I don't know. You got to let somebody, feel themselves out there.
If he's a two-way player, maybe. If he's high yellow, some sort of ginger with injuries here and there, I can't count on him. No.
If you can't count on them, then you're not offering that money anyway. So that's why you offered what you offered, and that still is there. So, I mean,
max money.
Yeah, you never wanted to max that dude. Since it was ever a discussion, you were against it.
They can't even move him now. Well, you can, but you'd have to pay for like $30 million of his salary yearly, go against your cap. Another team might be willing to pay $20 million for him. That's what he's worth. 25.
All right.
All right, let's move on. All right, because they're not going to go anywhere. All right, I guess we did all of that except for the dome teaser, bro.
Get giddy with it.
What do Terrence Howard's theories and a cosmic wave have in common? That one was presented by the algorithm. I thought it was weird. But we'll see if you guys, and I did drop it in the chat, give you guys a chance to matriculate. They're saying great things about Justin Fields and Pittsburgh camp, so.
Yeah, they were saying a bunch of crap about him too. It was coming out, and then they had to reverse all of that when they actual people that were there.
Well, it's a same thread of pink hate that was the crap that was here. Yeah, it started there. Yeah, but
so I mean, just saying.
Some reason hating on him gets a lot of clicks. As I said, I'm sad he's gone, but I'm happy I don't have to sit there and listen to all that hate. I thought he was getting away from it. I bet he thought he was getting away from it too. But enough of the appetizers.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the promo. We played it in part 1, so. All right. What? Gravity. All right, gravity. Part 1 of this tonight's show, we're going to talk about gravity in this one part, first part of it. He was saying how they use some sort of simulator self and actually simulated or rebuilt Saturn, even up to the hexagon on its crown, even with the rings. And they said they did it without putting gravity or dark matter in the formula. So they didn't put any quantum mumbo jumbo magic in this. I'm going to play it, so, and then I want you guys to try to figure out what the hell he's talking about, but that's my take on it. Let's see, basic. Yeah, basic.
He said gravity was minimal at best. I don't know about this part, but aside from that.
Yeah. All right. 101. I'm going to start about right here.
Has the rings with no animation. He's attacked him for because he talked about the drift, this natural drift, and that wasn't it more versus visible.
Right.
And 75% of it, 74 something, 74.
Here we go.
70% of it is dark energy, and 20-something% of it is dark matter. unperceivable things, and they say that's because they needed to figure out how would they get the spin and create and have the
speed it up.
The galaxies.
Why do they
the
hold
spiral
together?
galaxies.
Right.
Well, what my team did, Chris Ely, who's my he's he's my Scotty. We use the same simulator that they use at Princeton. And we took linchpins, and we haven't even introduced linchpins yet, but it'll be a great introduction for it. We took linchpins, this configuration of where 6 pentagons meet, and we put them in particular order. There's a link for that right inside of the thing that James Pellegrini sent over to you, if you'll pull that up. And we rebuilt the planet Saturn without gravity, and it has the rings with no animation. It has the rings and the hexagon that's observed at the very top of it, without dark matter, without dark energy, without gravity, showing that it's an outward force pushing down that creates the planet. If you can pull that up, and he explains it out, it's like 3 minutes long.
And where does the matter come from?
The matter, remember, that's condensation. If you were to picture, before we watch it, let me explain something. If you were to picture the waves at the ocean, the darker the waves, the deeper
This, you got to really picture this. You can see it when you urinate in the toilet.
the water. You can't see a distinguishing fact between them until they crash into each other. That splatter, that little foam that comes out, it lasts for a couple seconds, and then it settles back on there, and it's just the balance between this force and this force. That's the physical universe. Those few seconds that it takes that matter, that more dense water, and the foam to recoalesce and get balanced again with the surrounding environment. That's the entire time that our universe, or all these universes, have worked together.
I think that's the rate too, Self. I think we were doing sound only last time. We got to go back to that too. So, Karen, let's only do sound only. But
that was cool. It should be no problem with that.
Because of the speed, should be all right. Yeah.
Yep.
So far, see, he said they did this with, we're going to play it more, but he said they did this with no gravity.
None.
Yeah. And somehow the computer model created Saturn. And I don't know how Saturn, because we did a whole show on Saturn some time back. Saturn's got some satanic.
Well, this is all a simulation. So we're all the whole. We're all within each of us is the whole thing, the fractals. So it makes sense that part of it could be evaluated and created. We're fractals. This is a simulation. So if you can master yourself, you can master the whole.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're going to push forward a little bit. All right, you guys let me know.
And the most important thing about being able to show this stuff is we're just cutting it off and discussing, which is fair use.
Yeah, well, you tell that to the big algorithm.
Together, but if you play this,
we wasn't doing that
very
when we
beginning of
got
my
strikes.
Book. That's why I went on at the Emmys, and I was like, look, I've got something else to do. I've been able to rebuild Saturn without gravity, with no animation, and then they clowned it.
Of course they did. Well, this is not something that you could say in a soundbite, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. This is not something, like your explanation of these things and your description of the very nature of reality itself is not something that...
He's a spook, but he's a good
lightly.
spook.
No.
It's something that, like...
Thank you for saying that.
It needs to be laid out, and it needs to be slowly examined. Because you've obviously spent a lot of time working on this.
Well,
this thing here.
He's brainwashed in some areas.
And this is us.
But
just to clarify what I'm going to
do. He's really trying to be a good guy.
No, this is going to be the short
some
one.
areas he just
a meathead in some areas.
Oh, yeah.
And he admits that.
DeGrasse Tyson, he knows where your computer sits.
It'll be the first one.
This one, correct?
Gravity is an effect.
Okay.
It's an effect of electricity. So
Okay.
turn it up. So
That's all he's
the
saying.
narration of
It's
it.
an effective, and it's
And
that
he was talking to
centrifugal
my
force.
wife and explaining to her what
You
what
know
he
what I
had
mean?
worked
That's
on.
what
It
he's saying.
it
He's saying
was-
there is no
This is
gravity.
6 years ago.
Centrifugal force
Maybe
and
5 years ago. But as soon as it
electromagnetism is not gravity that's holding
Yeah, rewind
everything.
it just a little bit.
And he proves it.
Okay, here we go.
It's
When
just
you
3 minutes
Two
long.
groups of vortexes.
take a balloon
Two
and
groups of
get that
tornadoes,
static.
spinning tornadoes that are pointing towards the center. As I highlight this object here, you'll see it, that yellow line. Right, so there's a bunch of those in there. There's actually 16 of them. I'll highlight them all.
Hold on. It's not doing anything. See, it's,
No, it's about to happen.
No,
It'll
nothing's
come
happening. My computer just froze again. Is what I'm trying to say. Something's freaked out by my computer. I might have to just try to.
You want to reboot?
I mean, I think I already did. I'll try again. Hold on. We have to pause.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, that's what it should be
I
doing. But it's
already
going to
know what's going on with that.
They don't want to believe it. Hold on, I gotta find.
Yeah, they try to, act like it, Like, yeah, it's not just my phone.
Yeah, and then once you go live, they all start hacking into your stuff, don't they? So
Facts.
all right, I gotta go back to. Oh, it's right here. My bad. 101. All right, 104.
That's weird.
All right, we're here.
What's the matter?
What I can see on that screen is not what I can see on my computer screen. I can't even see that.
It's the fucking government, man.
You think it's not?
I think it is sometimes. I assume they listen to everything I say.
They do.
I'm sure.
They do. You
It's a
took
lot of boring shit.
You took a bold stand, though, years ago when the governments were trying to poison their citizens. You took a very bold stand that nobody else took. That's what I was like, wow.
We don't want to talk about that. Hey, they talked a lot about the Peter
that yellow
pandemic.
line. Right, so there's a bunch of those in there. There's actually 16 of them. I'll highlight them all.
Hold on. It's not doing
Yes,
anything.
they did.
No, it's about to happen.
No, nothing's happening.
Because they, you know how that goes.
Yeah, he went hard. I'm just choosing to skip it, and y'all should watch that.
X that you use in order to get back to A or to convert it to B. What
Wave
they did with the Michelson Morley
conjugations,
experiment
y'all. He's saying the
was
wave
because they could not
conjugations
get out of
are
the
the ether.
They couldn't step outside of the ether because it's everything around us. So they couldn't tell a difference
I'm
whether
gonna go
they saw
back.
no that it's going to get shorter. So you're supposed to have 2 exact bars 6 inches out and leave one outside of the freezer and put one in the freezer. And then you compare them after you see it. So A over X is equal to B over to R times B over X. R is the result or the change between them. B is the change that occurs. R is what fraction or the X that you use in order to get back to A or to convert it to B. What they did with the Michelson-Morley experiment, because they could not get out of the ether. They couldn't step outside of the ether because it's everything around us. So they couldn't tell a difference whether they saw no result, no change. So they assumed there was a void, that there was no ether there. And that's when particle physics took off. Lorentz, a great physicist that everybody loved, entered a paper in 1904 where he was continually explaining the ether the same way that Maxwell, all of his theories came off of there being an ether, but he was still limited by Newtonian laws and the Coulomb force of opposites attracting. When it's the positive, it's the things that are alike that attract. But he believed that the ether was still and space was flat. And so space-time or Einstein relativity came as a result of them taking the ether away. And for 100 years, we've walked down this particle physics world that's all theoretical. And here I've patented these wave conjugations that is the ether, is the contraction of the ether and the expansion of it. And on top of that, the proof of it was I've been able to build new industries from it. If you'll go to, I want to introduce the linchpin, if I can. With all of the talk.
Before we do that, can you tell me how a planet is formed under this theory? So you have
planets are suns passing gas, basically self.
A sun. And how does the sun give birth to these planets?
The same way we defecate and have gas. Like Jupiter's, that red spot on Jupiter, that's spinning on it, that's going to become a moon. It may take a billion or 2 billion years. That will ultimately become a moon off of Jupiter. Where is it? Right at the equator. Where do we discharge at? Right at our equator. And then it will rotate its way around and slowly be pushed out by the solar wind by Jupiter.
So like coronal mass ejections.
Coronal mass ejections.
Yeah, you know
so some kind of
I must
ejection
have
of matter
around me?
leaves the sun, and over billions and billions of years, enough of it collects, and there's enough of a force.
To where ultimately that coalescing idea that they have, that's where it happens. It's not from materials that's just been left over from the Big Bang. You know, like Rupert Sheldrake says, the physicists of today ask for, you give us one miracle and, show us how everything came from nothing and we'll explain everything else. And they can't explain everything else. They can't explain the morphic resonance that's happening between things. Like right now, because I've discovered these wave conjugations, every person on the planet that's been thinking about it will now have ideas concerning it. But not just us, but all humanoids throughout the entire universe will now get that same resonance and be able to apply it like the experiments with the rats.
Right.
You teach a rat something here in London, and then in New York, you find the rats are doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, look up that experiment about those rats. So what's your take on the wave conjugations in the ether? He said something about we can't detect the ether because we're in the ether. We are the ether.
Yeah, I mean, it's amongst everything. It's can't get outside of it.
Yeah.
And it's
the dimension.
Yeah, and the simulation. And they can't get outside of it, so they try to make up reasons without explaining that it's there. Dark matter, black holes, gravity.
Yeah,
there were people who said otherwise that were killed for saying otherwise. So it's not a whole new concept. It's just like a whole lot of things in this world we live in. It's set by some people, and people who try to go above that are not treated kindly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
It's the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. We do it for our people. The Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. We wordsmith 9 nails.
Y'all know how it is.
The Self Love Show, you know how the story go. It's the
Self Love Show. We rolling and going through the thing. Talking about Terrence Howard, madman or genius,
or both.
Part 2.
It's the Self Love Show, the Self Love
Bringing up
Show,
concepts we didn't talk about last time and expanding the conversation.
It's the Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Love Show,
got some excellent videos for you to check out.
I mean, so is 1 + 1 2 because that's the way it is, or is it just that because we agreed that that's what it is?
That's what the basis of all math, and that's that. Yes.
So I could have said 1 + 1 is 3. And we could have built it all off of that.
Yeah. And it would have been just as nonsensical at points.
Right. Because you can't break the universe down to its ether, because we are the ether.
Yeah, we are in the simulation. And we'll be right back at y'all.
All right, so next week, you guys, we're continuing.
So, man, is that right? Let me check on that, because, you know, we are releasing that song. I'm going to see if we can get Tracy of it.
All right, fellas, now that I got your attention, I'm dropping the summer anthem for the working man. It's called...
Yeah, I'm going to let you know.
Maybe a release talk about show. If not, Terrence Howard.
Yeah, if we can't get him,
yeah.
But just a whole, you know, let's, you know, do a regular show with him, you know, for the release. You know?
Oh, yeah, that'd be love.
It ain't completely about the release, but it's about the background.
Right. And it could be mentioned. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
How the wings, nephew?
Brother,
I'm wiping it, though. I'm going to wipe it.
That's
I'm
right.
going to say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother, you know, between us. Tori made me at Beta. And so, you know, he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah.
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. I mean, grateful You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Luv Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man,
It's
oh my
apropos that
God.
you are
Man,
the
don't
first
do that to
recipient.
me.
And Noop, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we
Oh,
have it on
God.
order. You know, we so it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
When I was about 5 years old, I had another dream. The room filled up with like this dark fluid, and there was a being there. I was trying to look up at him, and I knew his voice, but I did not know who it was. He said to me, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Now, we were really poor, but I said to him, I want to know how everything works. He used his left hand and he opened up the door, and there was this mansion, big brown doors. And inside of it was this crystalline flowers. And every time I tried to see his face, he would reach in and hand me another shape. And I was so fascinated because they didn't look like the platonic solids. I woke up from that dream. After that moment, anytime something strange would happen in a dream, I had the powers of inception. And I would find that mansion again. And I had access to all the knowledge. The proof of it is the 97 patents that I have. That voice that I heard, that's my voice now.
When he was shot in the back.
Family members of the victim say he was complying with police before he was shot 4 times in the back.
I want to repeat that. He was sitting on a marked black and white police motorcycle in full uniform, and he was shot in the back.
One deputy shot him with beanbags, another shot him 4 times in the back.
And if he's willing to do that, I'm sure he's willing to shoot at anybody else. And we collectively, all of us, need to get him off the street.
Moses fleeing the people from Pharaoh.
Right, let my people go.
40 years in a desert.
Manna.
Let's talk about what manna truly is. And
The Aganowski's in the Middle East right now saying manna is Peter.
can we put some sensibility to that? Being in the desert, and our Father, the Creator, loves us beyond. He's gonna rain down bread in a desert. Moses summoned the strongest men for them to dig, and that's where the whole term of so it is above, so it is what?
Below.
That means that Moses had the science for them to dig and find water.
Yeah, like the elephants can do.
So what do you find, even in the desert, when you dig down and find water? Do you find bread or do you find plants?
You ain't shoot AML, he's a fucking goof.
Don't you feel like that type of energy might bring
give to it?
You know, talk to your teachers, talk to your counselor, level of support.
Man, I thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format, very solid.
Karen, stand by.
It don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the Black community, for real.
Yeah.
Like people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro.
They're so ignorant.
Hey, but this platform's your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made for you.
The crazy
ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble, but go ahead, bro.
This platform is made for you and me.
the Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. We do it for our people. The Self Love Show. It's the Self Love Show. It's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. The Wordsmith Nightmares. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. You know how the story goes. It's the Self Love Show.
Today, we're expounding upon Terrence Howard, Madman or Genius. We're exploring different points of his conversation with Joe Rogan and exploring ourselves.
Yeah, the comment on that Rogan podcast. His comment said if probably some pink stink said if Cat Williams and Terrence Howard sat on the pod together, they just sit there and nod at each other. Oh my God. I thought that was pretty creative.
Yeah.
Love to see it though. All right.
I would like to see that conversation.
Because
it wouldn't be nodding. They probably wouldn't do it on, line.
Yeah, very true. He said that death is cap. Now, he's using science to kind of prove religion. Not religion, but
spontaneously because of the morphic resonance, because we are all connected on this ether, and that waveform that's the consciousness. We are all just one great being.
Yeah.
That's what they forget. We're not separate. The universe is probably one cell inside of some super organism.
Right.
Yes. And we're just little who, little who's like Horton hears a who and trying to make sense of it. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing that we're making sense of it. But everything is just one great being. We're all God. That's what Jesus was talking about. That's what Buddha was talking about. It's recognizing the divinity in you. What I did as a child, I said, I'm going to, instead of waiting for the Messiah to show up, what if everybody picked up their torture stake and behaved and did the things that they had expected the Messiah to do?
What if they picked up their cross and followed him? What if they let the dead bury their dead? Now, you've been on that when we've been talking about heaven on earth, which would be Silverdale. You know what I mean? Yeah. Can't say them all. Let the dead bury their dead. They're just not walking around here. They're going to show themselves to be a certain, they don't want to, buy in. They're not welcome around here.
They're not going to be part of the light. Then
Is the purge taking place in Chicago? Not saying the Nation of Islam are partnering with the police and partnering with these big podcasters. There was a lot of talk about the purge. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it was on the internet, the black internet, the copper-colored internet, suggesting purging all of the Pookies and Ray Rays who just run up and down the community, shooting, killing 7-year-old kids, and robbing innocent people who are just going about their way, and you're not even trying. I mean, these minimum wage, like in California, it's $20 an hour at McDonald's. You can get a job at McDonald's, get you a meal every day. You know what I mean? And $20. Come on, come on. Used to be that time, man. I ain't flipping no burger. Can't feed my family. Well, anyway, I'm way off base here. My point is, there was some talk about the purge, which I was against. I feel like Farrakhan's been against it, because he's always preached to the effect, if you kill that brother, you can't, raise that brother. So I don't want to say that they're doing it, but could the purge be taking place? You saw the video during the break, and then what's his name just got killed? The rapper from Jacksonville, and I was the day before he got killed, I swear, one of his instrumentals came up on my algorithm. Yeah, God bless the algorithm. And it played one of his instrumental. I'm like, man, I'm sorry I said it. I said, and something big is going to happen. Put a pin here on December 25th. All right, FBI, CIA. All right, but stuff I said, I'm really surprised that brother's still alive. And then I thought to myself, yeah, he's been laying real low. So, bless him. Maybe he's changing his life around. And the very next day, he's out there on live and out Same thing like Vaughn out at the, and then he was at the concert, and then he was at the party, and then flat, he's rest his soul and ancestor. Is that the purge? Is the purge taking place because nobody's talking about the purge anymore, and all these guys are ending up deleted from the matrix?
Yeah, some of it is.
Think about it. They come on these
consequences of this matrix the simulation that we live in. Some of it is some of it is wishful thinking, what they wrote, what they think, what they thought, the law of attraction.
Yeah, and I believe that 100%. Well, 99%. Well, 100%. You know,
and all of that was programming for the purge.
That's what I'm saying. And in one of those videos, they literally asked him about it, and he said he don't believe in all that. You know, karma. He don't believe in all that, and was literally deleted like a week later. They come on these shows, Self, and it's like if we have them on this show, all right, let's just say we're on the block and we're OGs, and you got the shorties running wild. You can't really pigeonhole who's really the shooter is. You got reason to believe you might know, but you don't know. I'm saying but you don't know, Self, the spirit. You don't know what's in the person's heart. And you sit them down in Silverdale, or you have a thing, and then you're sitting down in Silverdale, and OGs, the people who run it are watching it, and they're asking this young man, "Hey, how you feel about leaving Silver?" "I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying, keep doing what I'm doing. How about changing your life around? And I'm starting killing school." And do you know what I mean? And I think at some point, maybe people are like, there's no redeeming this guy.
Yeah, no redemption whatsoever. He said, "No, none of that exists. I don't,
Yeah.
How can you make Chicago better? You can't, because shit, it's fucked
just
up.
Mind,
shit,
just mind your business, stay out the
way.
way. And let us do everything. Just mind your business, stay out the way, and let us do everything we doing. This is my business, the community, the kids walking back and forth, the children walking back and forth to school. And the other dude, what's his name? They did a video on that. Julio. I told Ace his name. Ace was like, his name was Fulio. And rest his soul. And literally, Self.
Cool. Because it's just a simulation. So.
Well, we're gonna cover it. We're gonna cover it in the 187 series, but when you see it, you're gonna be like, how is this possible? Knowing. Oh my God, we're saving that. That's gonna be one heck of a show. We're gonna do that one sooner than later, too.
Yeah,
all right.
Some of these people are artificial intelligence, they're not real.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that I would have laughed at that assertion a while back, and now it has to be true.
What if everybody just for one day walked around and behaved as if they were God himself and did the things that they would expect a creator? And we know God can't just be a male, because no man can produce a child without a female. Everything in the universe, as above, so below, like Billy Carson always talks about. You can't, everything has an equal and opposite. It has to mate. Mating is a big part of what we do. The boron mates with nitrogen, and that's how the carbon happens. Everything inside of us, all our cells, they're mating. There's a relationship going on in it. Everything's alive. There is no death, but that the Bible talked about a mechanistic world. God took dirt and blew into it the breath of life, and it came to life. But if you look at the Brownian effect, what is breathing? Going from positive to negative. And they see all these, even the plastic that makes these things up, are still going from, it's still carbon, polarizing from positive to negative. Breathing in, breathing out. It's just under a different state of matter, but there is no death. There's no death. Everything's eternal. And once we get rid of the idea, okay, you're going to die and disappear, then they don't have any grasp over you anymore. And to be free, the truth will set you free. That's why I was like, okay, well, if this truth cost me this lifetime, then wonderful, I've accomplished what I needed to do. Because I think in the previous lifetime, I was supposed to do these things and I didn't. And that's why it's been so hard for me. And that's why I've pushed so hard to get these things out, because
So you felt like that, like from the womb?
From the womb, I had to get this
So you felt
done.
like you had these things that you didn't
No, he's a man.
Yeah.
I mean, but so like I was like, oh my God, it's brilliant. Then it'll be like, and then it's and 1 times 1 is 3. You know what I mean? And when I was in my mama's womb, I was smoking a cigarette. And I was smoking a cigarette in my mama's womb. And I was
1 is 2.
smoking a cigarette because everybody got smoked. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do everything else natural, but everybody got to have a bad habit. I was sitting in my mama's womb smoking a cigarette. But go ahead, bro. What was you saying? My fault.
It's 1 times 1 is 2, not 3.
My bad. Pardon me.
I'm just saying that's what he said.
That is what he said. And he broke it down rather eloquently. I think that's going to be in part 3. We're going to get there. So we're not going to make fun of it before we let him, have his moment. And Terrence Howard, if you're out there, we'd love to have you on the show. Yeah, I get Brother Newman on here to debate him. He met Brother Newman once too. And they're both chemical engineers. It'd be a good debate. Brother Newman will get prepared, but if anything goes off script, I don't know, brother.
It's gonna go off script.
Yeah, because this guy, he's hard to build a show around. Because even your boy Rogan did a great job. You're like, yeah, sure, I want to talk about that, but let's stay right here for. He did a great job pulling them back, and he'll get back to it. I was like, man, yeah, Rogan's really good at this. I don't know what's in his heart though.
So he'd be blowed. He really want to know the information he asked.
And he needs this information out there for the CIA and for big science. They go on these platforms. It's another platform, bro, where he just lets them talk. And what other ideas do you have? Like they get Drew on there. Tell me more about it. They would. Something sit down there. Oh, yeah. And what else? And how else does that work? Because he says, and I got the patent, but they don't know how it works. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, shit. Big ups to him, though. He could be acting. That's the thing about it.
It could be.
He could be a tool for the Illuminati. A big distraction. What they call him? You know what they call him? Something.
Could be tool.
Could be.
I don't feel that though. So
Hey, your boy Neil deGrasse Tyson clapped back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he clapped back.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, I watched a few minutes of it, and then I was like, oh no, I can't.
I hate to say it, and if anybody's kids watching, I'm sorry. He's the type of guy, and this guy wasn't a bully. But a good friend of mine known as Self Luv back in the day would have slapped the shit out of him just for not him. He'd have gotten it from rest his soul Haywood. When I can say his last, just slapped us
for nonsense coming out his mouth, like
always the smartest guy in the damn room.
Man.
You know what I mean? And this is the dorm room. You know what I mean? Like, That's what you had a visual of this guy in the dorm room being that cocky boy with that nerdy swag.
Yeah.
All right.
He would have never made it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that would have showed up at the big dinner when the billionaires from the chapter showing up. Made it later.
Yep.
All right, let's move on.
Just a funny note.
Yeah, me and DX decided we're calling them all. What up, Mark? My name's Chris. Oh, I thought you. Yeah, we called them all Mark. I knew you would like that.
Get out in a previous lifetime, and now you feel like an unstoppable urge.
I have to at all costs.
So can I go? I would love to talk more about this, but I don't want to lose this thought. So if I want to go back to the formation of planets. So under this theory, these stars eject matter, and over time, this matter will achieve a certain amount of distance from the sun.
Short distance. Look at Mercury. Mercury isn't that far from it.
Right. It kind of makes sense. And then over time, it'll eventually get further and further out. The sun will continue to make more and more planets.
I thought this was
over
brilliant.
an imperceptible amount of time. We won't be able to measure it. In our world, we'll see it. It appears static, just like plants appear static to us. But if you ever watch one of those motion
Secret
capture,
Life of Plants.
yeah,
Secret
plants
Life
are
of
moving
Plants
and touching
stuff. I've
each
been
other,
watching
and
it since
they're just
you
doing
said
it at a pace that our brain can't handle.
A different temporal dimension.
Yes. So the sun is creating
Man,
planets, but it's
I
doing
felt
so
like
at
that
a
for a
pace
long
that our mind
time,
can't
bro.
really wrap around. So we want to think there's just
That they've been communicating plants.
Yeah,
one of those
they
motion
are-
capture.
Let me hit mute. Go
They
ahead.
are conscious, and
Oh yeah.
you-
You're saying
you-
even before all the sun, like even as a kid, you always felt their presence.
well, go to the farm in the summers. I'm an
Down in
so,
down in the Chalktown Nation.
yeah, we wasn't in the Choctaw Nation. My family had a large land and taught us a lot about it. But they were hush hush. They said that we was Indian, but they didn't talk about it. They didn't teach us about it. It was not.
I wonder why not.
Because they were killing people at points for saying they was Indian. They told you if you was gonna be Indian,
You had to go to the reservations.
you had to go to Oklahoma. You had to do the Trail of Tears. If you was gonna stay here, you was gonna be Negroes or
Descendants of slaves.
yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
So they didn't talk about it. They told us we was Indian. And then it was later on when I looked into it lately that I really found out. I mean, I had heard Choctaw, but I really looked into it. And yes.
Well, they should give land inside each city to the different how would I say this respectfully? Non-$5 engine nations. You know what I mean? And they can
It'd
show
be
up there.
really hard because they work so hard to, like, if you look back on your census records, that's probably the best way to have some proof, because you'll see some of them that they crossed out I and put N.
So you expect me to believe that the Aganakis, whatever you call them, and what's the other name for them? Some other ones that can't
Ours.
yeah. And the $5 engines, you expect me to believe not only that they all took our legacies.
Yeah.
That
No, the $5 they were giving it. So they wouldn't even took it.
Well, I know I what you're saying. They didn't even come with the violence and all of that. They
No.
were just some sort of, were they Khazars too? Or were they some sort of Aganakis? Or were they Polish? Where were they?
I'm not sure. It might have been the first English and Germans. The English, because in England is.
Well, how they learn all the? How they learn the language?
Well, there at some point was schools for them where they were taught the culture and all of that shit. And some
I know my
horrible things happened to them in those schools. But
well, I know my late mom went to a few of those. She said some of those powwows was commercialized garbage.
Yeah, because they
had nothing to do with the culture, nothing.
It had nothing.
Fake stuff, self. I'm talking about like
yes,
that.
Were. It's something you were
like
taught,
this supposed to be
like
made from natural
programming.
stuff. Yeah. They'll hand you a plastic water bottle. Do you know what I'm saying? Something like, and your people would never hand anyone a no, they would have nothing to do with plastic, right? Nothing to do with it. And if they did, they'd be using it like a billion times. You know what I mean?
That's my damn family for sure. I don't throw anything away. Be like, hey, that's I know you got some food in that.
Bro, my grandmother was like that too.
Yeah, we're supposed to get that out of here.
Bro,
supposed to be one use, and boy, they had some stuff for years. Straws. My great grandparents would keep straws, and they would wash them out. And
but they're reusable and it's better for the environment.
Man,
I remember my grandmother, boy, she was like a pack rat, but she was very organized. She had a whole basement full of stuff. And I'd be down there helping her organize. We'd just be moving stuff
exactly
around.
where it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
She still knew where it was
She
at.
knew exactly where it was. We'd just be moving stuff around. And I came across a bag of it was egg cartons, foam egg cartons. I'm like, Gran, what you saving these for? She didn't really say, but I was like, let me throw these away. She was like, put them back. I swear it was like 2 weeks later. I had a science project at Drop Dead Gorgeous William H. Ray School. Where all the smart bougie kids was, nobody thought they were better than us, that's for sure. Maybe lab school, maybe lab. Hey, but bro, man, I went to school, bro. I had a science project and I needed about 20 egg cartons to pull it off. I said, son of a bitch. I came back to my grandmother. I'm like, I need 20 egg cartons, boy. She's like, well, you know where they at? Oh, man. So she had her moment. It was like you with the whole punch discussion, bro. You know what I mean? It justified everything, boy. Yeah.
Just saying,
I was eating crow. I was going to throw those away.
Yeah, and you would have felt like a jackass if you had. That's why I'm in a quandary now. My mom still know where stuff is here. She ain't really been over here, but she want to come get the stuff that she want to come get.
Yeah.
And she kind of know where it's at.
Yeah.
Even amongst all the construction.
Yeah. And they want it, man. You know what I mean? It's got meaning, so. All right, let's push on because I want to get to his VR patents and then a couple more
plants
things.
are moving and touching each other, and they're just doing it at a pace that our brain can't handle.
A different temporal dimension.
Yes. So the sun is creating planets, but it's doing so at a pace that our mind can't really wrap around. So we want to think there's just matter and that it's flying through space and it's
That's all making sense though. That's all.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's like all of the planets are a segmented space apart.
Yeah.
And then the next one is being made, and then when
they're all moving at the same rate.
And they considered Pluto to not be one, but
anymore.
maybe it's growing.
And because it's pushing out so far, you see what I'm trying to say?
No, maybe it's growing. It was in the immature process of the process.
But if it's growing, it would be closer to the sun, not the furthest away. Like Mercury is the one that's the most recent, according to his theory.
Oh, we're drifting away at
Correct.
a certain pace. Yeah.
Correct. So maybe our consciousness was telling us Pluto was a planet because it was in the solar system, but at some point it moves out. You know what I mean? Out of the
whole solar system. Well, I guess it's still going to be called solar system, but it's not going to be the same without gravity. But it's going to still be kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah. As above, so below. Then shouldn't we have little moons? I don't know. I got to ask ChatGPT the average number of farts a human being has a year. I'm saying I should have 1 million. Let me ask ChatGPT. I should have 1 million planets around me.
This moon supposedly is an artificial thing. It's not natural. So how does that come into play? And what? I don't think all planets have moons.
They don't?
I'm not sure because this is a simulation, and I don't know how it works outside of what they say. And there are multiple suns that they don't include with the sun and the moon that's in the firmament. So there's some other things been showing up. So we're probably moving into a different dimension, like, because there's stuff we couldn't perceive before that wasn't there before.
Well,
to our perception.
Well, I would have to do some math here, Self, and I guarantee you, when I take the time to do the math, it's going to make sense. So the average human or person passes gas approximately 5,110 times a year. Right? Now, I guarantee you, if you compare that to the lifetime of the sun, right? The math is going to math as far as, because of course, a year's time to us, a year to the sun self would probably be like a second. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to do the math in the relationship of the quote unquote time into these numbers. So, interesting. Okay. Yeah. It's 5,000 times a year. So that means we'd be creating 5,000 planets. What I'm saying is, as above, so below. If he's saying that the Earth produced the moon through a fart, and the sun produced the Earth through a fart.
No, I don't. I think you might be looking at it a little bit, because those are not holes; those are parts. So that could be inside your body, even though you. The reason why you
I
pass
see what you're
gas
saying.
is because a system in your inside you.
And when it ejects, it's outside the solar system.
Yeah.
If that's the body in this particular scenario.
And into a larger solar system.
Could that be what a black hole is, which he doesn't know does exist? Could the black hole be a fart? He says they don't exist.
No.
Could they be a fart?
No, it's an exchange. It's part of this simulation.
I wish I'd have thought of this at Drop Dead Gorgeous when we made Trade School. Boy, man, if I had this conversation, my science project would have been about the fart. I'd have been able to fart. I've been encouraging people to fart. I'd have been taking some sort of, he fart right here. Taking some sort of measurements on the fart, how long they fart stink.
You'd have been the LD class.
You said it and gave it, oh, they had a hearing aid this big, huh?
Man, they'd have been like,
Oh, hold it. Hold it. And where does he live at? He can't possibly live in Hyde Park. Where's
right. We got to give him some drugs. There's something wrong with this kid.
That's when they start unpeeling the layers. Follow him home from school. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, you don't live in the district.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, let's get him out of there. Yeah. All right. I don't know. That would have been fun.
Especially, with all the science being correct and all of that. Yeah. That's what it would have been the biggest problem of it.
Yeah, and it wasn't coming from an Anunnaki or a Khazarian.
Collects via gravity, and the more mass, the more gravity.
It's supposed to, but take a balloon. Another thing that kills gravity.
Yes.
Gravity is supposed to be the greater the mass, is the greater the attractor. You take a balloon, you rub it on your leg. You put it over the ground.
There you go, son.
Watch the dust particles jump off the ground, off this big mass.
Let's do it again.
And the more mass, the more gravity.
He's talking about gravity.
It's supposed to, but look at.
You ever watch one of those motion
secret
capture?
Life of plants.
Yeah, plants are moving and touching each other. They're just doing it at a pace that our brain can't handle.
A different temporal dimension.
Yes. So the sun is creating planets, but it's doing so at a pace that our mind can't really wrap around. So we want to think there's just matter and that it's flying through space and it's
inanimate.
Collects via gravity, and the more mass, the more gravity.
It's supposed to, but take a balloon. Another thing that kills gravity. Gravity is supposed to be the greater the mass, is the greater the attractor. You take a balloon, you rub it on your leg, you put it over the ground. Watch the dust particles jump off the ground, off this big mass called the Earth, and jump onto that balloon. Because why? Electricity is 137 times stronger than the pull of gravity or the effects of the so-called gravity. It's the electric force that's the attractive force. It's the electric force that tightens everything together as the masculine, and then the dividing force is the radiating force, the magnetic field. It ablates and pushes everything out, and then they collect together again. But where these things meet, at the proper angles of incidence, like the Birkeland currents talked about, those plasma currents talked about, those angles of incidence is at 120 degrees when it converts it back into electricity, and it will keep collecting and coming and making life. The planet isn't a dead thing. It didn't just happen to come together. That's just the process by which it was given life. It's alive, and it's screaming. It thought we were going to be beneficial to it, and now it's trying to kill us. It needs to scratch itself and get rid of us because
I've said this for years, and the natives always said it, and the ancients have said it too. Like, this isn't new to anyone of melanin who who hasn't just been drinking Kool-Aid, who does little things and studies and goes inside oneself. All of what he's saying. I mean, I've heard this, and someone told me the earth is live. They told me that when I was a kid, and it felt natural to me. It didn't feel like dumb science, did it?
Right.
You know what I mean? No.
Made total
I'm
sense.
alive. Yeah.
Even before I knew as above, so below, or any of
that.
It was like Mother Earth is alive.
Yeah. But all this is new to certain people. They just think it's a dead rock and it's all random and we're all just monkey pieces of meat.
That's the program that they're presenting. That it's evolved from monkeys
and we're just meat flying around on a rock.
It's some of their story though. So I mean, that's the whole thing. They try to present it that we're all the same, and it's all of our story.
Hold it. Are you saying that there are some entities on Earth that all they are is meat flying around on the
No, not meat, but they evolved. They were,
lower primates and
and they evolved and they
found consciousness.
And they were they had some form of consciousness, but they were taught and trained and over time they came to dominate the whole situation because they didn't have
good memories.
No, they didn't have a certain once they became aware, they didn't have that certain thing that would help. They were helped and they don't have that. So they took advantage and now they're in control.
I don't know. I'm lost. What are you talking about?
The way this planet is being run.
No, I'm saying they don't have
empathy. They don't care. They just
gotcha
doing what they do for them.
Gotcha. Yeah. They don't even have empathy for the earth.
They don't think of it as a being. They don't think of us as beings completely.
Well, don't they think their own kids as beings?
Not completely. And they think that some of them are ritualistic to these books that are worshipped and their children are even a property and they don't.
But I've used this analogy. You're on a boat, we're on a boat, and I'm adding to it. And they're screwing holes in the boat. So you're saying something, I could pay them to screw holes in a boat in the middle of the ocean, just give them money. It's good for them. They're going to live good. You're going to have good food while we're out here in the middle of the ocean. And they're just, putting little tiny holes in it. But ultimately, it's going to kill their family and everybody else on the boat. And you're saying that they don't have the capacity to be able to see that this is a bad idea to destroy this boat for paper?
It's not. They don't think about the whole. They don't think about all of those people. They think about their family and their family line. These lines have been exalted above everybody else for millennia, a lot of millennia. So it's not everybody. They care about their line, and you are part of it to a certain degree. They care about you, but as lines go, they spread out wider and wider. So if you can be eliminated too, if you ain't all the way on what they on.
If you're getting a little too watered down in the lineage.
Yeah, if you're just not on what they're on, then,
you ain't privy.
Yeah, you can fall into
Then you get cut out of the trust and all of that. Nobody talks to you. They start discrediting you, calling you crazy, and you can end up in an institution. They'll put you away.
Oh, you end up dead. Say
car
some
accident,
drugs or something.
Cancer.
Drugs. Usually those ones they say.
Rapidly develop. Oh yeah, for those, yeah. But supposedly the CIA's got stuff, man. They just prick you, walk past you and prick you.
Oh yeah,
you'd be dead from the cancer in 2 months.
The CIA ain't killing those people. Those people are ruffling feathers in the family, and the family handles their business.
Yeah, okay, I got you. That's way up.
Yeah.
All right, now you heard his thing about gravity. What's your take? So you see what he's saying. Why is it sucking up weight? And they told me, well, that's just static electricity. Okay. And that's stronger than gravity?
It is. I mean, I guess locally they're saying, but I mean, if it is locally, then it is expansively. And all of the models that have the dichotomy and they're the same way up and down are, and one's electrical and others magnetic, and then gravity is not no part of it.
Well, it never made sense to me, is it always felt like it would have to be some sort of centrifugal force for me, because the whole gravity thing, I'm like, man, if the earth is round, it just never made sense to me as a kid. Naturally, I'm looking at the globe and I'm like, well, which way is this force pulling? Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
and how is it pulling?
Yeah. So then they're like, well, then there's iron core in the center. And, we kind of figure out that this all might be hollow when you get down to the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, so if this really could just be a spaceship for some entities that's been flying through space for billions of years, you know what I mean? And
if it's what they say, because I don't think it is. I don't see how it could be flying through space at the speed that it is, and all of these motherfucking planets and all of this shit is flying at the same rate.
Well, let me ask you this.
Never made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Never. How you can see the same shit, they can predict what days it's gonna be and all of that. How the fuck,
Okay. On the one hand, I could say, as above, so below, things could be flowing like a stream. But then on the other hand, I could say, yeah, you're right. Where does it make sense that everything is just flying around? Where do we see that at? where we see, I guess, at the quantum level? Yeah, the quantum level.
Well, the whole problem is that they can make a model, a computer that can put the planets in the spaces they're going to be in for every day of the year, and adjust this for the year, by year. This is a simulation, so
Just my question is, what's the point of the motion? And I mean, I wish they could. I'm a Y guy, and I used to piss them off in the church, and I used to piss them off in a science class. Well, and it's moving. Why? And then they say, well, because the Big Bang and everything hasn't slowed down, but things aren't slowing down; they're speeding up. So if it was a Big Bang, where does it happen? Where is an explosion and it just speeds? Well, I guess we would still be. I guess what they're saying, we're still in the earliest stages of the explosion, where things are still expanding. Then at some point they would stop expanding, but I guess they say if there's nothing to stop the expansion, it'll just go on forever.
They say it's always expanding.
Yeah, because there's nothing to stop it.
Well, then how are the planet, these things these lights we see in the sky, how are they in the same place, bro?
An object in motion will stay in motion. You learned that in school. They rammed that to you.
Yeah, so if it's expanding, how is that in the same place? Why?
Because we're expanding. We're expanding at the same rate and relative to it.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. No. You're in a car. Well, you're in a car. You're 2 miles in front of me.
I'm talking about this one.
And I'm doing 75 miles per hour.
No. You're talking about one car and one car. I'm talking about a whole constellation that's there all the time, every year, and you know exactly where it's at. How those are supposed to be expanding? Why they're not expanding? Why is it not bigger? Why is it not a bigger constellation of it? Why is it the same size? Why is it not?
You're saying why are we seeing different constellations?
Yeah, or different. The constellation could be the same and bigger, because goddamn it. It's moving further away at the same rate. If everything's moving at the same rate,
right?
All of it's got to be moving, right?
Yeah, but if it's all moving, and it's all moving at the same rate, it's going to appear to not be moving. From the point of view of
the things that's further away, the light
rate as this thing, and it looks like it's
hold on. Even if it's moving at the same rate, the time that they're supposed to light, the light is supposed to take for it to reach here, it's not gonna be in the same place.
Give it some thought. I had to get it some thought. Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole lot of math you'd have to do. And that's what I'm saying. And they claiming they be doing the math. Nobody really understands the math except for about 12 of them. And they go sit in rooms, come out and discuss the math amongst each other. And then they come out with this stuff and they say it all factored in and it all makes sense. And it don't be making sense to everybody except for about a handful of them.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be probably proven to be wrong.
Yes. That's going to be definitely proven to be wrong. And then when you have guys like Tory or this guy coming out trying to, explain where the math isn't math, and people point their fingers and look at them like, they're, idiots. At some point, they're not telling you that Santa Claus came down their chimney and left their kids toys. They're not telling their kids that, So at some point, you know what I mean? If you guys are believing big science, maybe it's time to grow up and realize that big science is Santa Claus coming down your chimney. And anybody who doesn't believe it,
It's all programming. That's exactly what they want you to think. So
we are using antiquated fundamentals. And like people say, well, what business do you have coming in here talking about science and all that? You're an actor. You want to know what my first patent was? The entire AR, VR world was built off of my first patent that was abandoned because I paid $260,000 for the worldwide patent. But then my agents my lawyers kept sending me these maintenance fees and annuities.
One thing, Billy Carson, he said, I thought about when you be saying, the tech. He said, we are using the same electric grid. He's like, even if you consider the nuclear power, he's like, that's from the 40s. The electric grid is from like early 1900s, late 1800s.
Yeah.
He said, are y'all, he said, you expect me to believe that there's been zero advancement in the way to proliferate energy and tech since that time?
It's been shut down every time.
Because the ones who control it can't make the money off of it. But why won't they just control that and make the money off of it?
Because they can't. Because once it's set in motion, hold on. They have been developing ways to make payment. That's why they've been piecemealing the technology out.
Mm-hmm. He said we could teleport.
Yeah. That's, man. Like, everything that pretty much we've seen in a
sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm like, these folks are just trying to shake me down. I'm not going to pay this. Well, a year later, if you would pull up my World of Windows patent, I think it's one of the first patents up there. I want you to see where your AR VR world came from. And you look at the list of companies that has cited.
This guy say AR VR, man. He was cited. I'm going to go up a little forward, though, but I'm going to still let him talk about it a little bit.
If you and it still has 31. It's to the right. Yep, right there. Tap on there and look at all the companies. If you look at the patent, these companies have all earned. They have
source data representing an aggregated field of view from the image capturing devices in accordance with the instructions received from the control unit, and outputs the refined data representing a desired display view to be displayed on one or more display devices, wherein the viewer position detector dynamically determines the position of the viewer in the room environment and changes the desired display view corresponding to position changes of the viewer.
Now you see
this is all you.
Yeah, look at the inventor. Go up a little bit and slide over. It says Terrence Howard. Worldwide patent 2010. It was abandoned. Now go to cited by. You see that 131 cited by? Tap on there. It's right under where it says abandoned. Patent
cited by 31.
Cited by 31. It's to the right. Yep, right there. Tap on there and look at all the companies. And if you look at the patent, these companies have all earned. They have multi-billion-dollar companies. They've
look at that. Amazon,
Microsoft, just roll through.
Sony, Microsoft, Amazon,
Hewlett Packard.
Yeah.
Keep going. IBM, and it's still making money. This patent has earned over $7 trillion.
And you didn't get a piece.
And I haven't gotten a penny of it. When they did all of the Black Lives Matter, like Raytheon Company, and IBM, if you and it still has another 9 years, another 8 years in which I would be making money off it. But what they didn't know is they didn't understand is how it was really supposed to work. So they've just been taking this gun and been using it as a bat. And if they wanted to know, I could show them how it really, really works. But this is proof that my stuff
Is legit.
Is legit.
So let me ask you this before we stray away from this too much. The concept of gravity. So if it's all electricity that's causing these forces and it's all outside in, when the Saturn V rocket is escaping Earth's atmosphere, what is it fighting against?
What that's fighting against is the rotation. Remember, there's a centripetal spin that's taking place with the Earth.
Right.
And there's an electrical field that's generated from that. That's that centripetal
There it
spin
is.
that holds things
And they know it,
inside.
so.
That's what it's fighting against.
And they fucking know it, bro. They've been lying to us that whole time. You can't tell me they don't know that shit, man. That shit is basic as fuck. They've known that for thousands of years. I'm gonna go to this last one. Linchpins. I don't know what he's talking about.
Firmament.
Well, I'm not gonna go there. I mean, I've been a little more open to that. I don't want to call it nonsense, that flat Earth nonsense, but
electrical systems that I've developed. But I want to show you Linchpin now. Here I've invented, here I'm an Oscar-nominated actor that is known all around the world, face recognition, vocal recognition, all around the world. I've invented a new form of flight, tangential flight, the ability to fly around your own center of mass, something they've never been able to do. And you don't hear anything about it. And it's unlimited bonding. If you can go to what Jonathan Davis sent over, he's one of the other programmers that work with us.
Explain what it does. Explain, when you said flight, what do you mean?
Tangential flight.
What do you mean by that?
It means right now, fixed wing aircraft, you can go in 4 degrees of direction. They go up, down, some can go forwards and backward, backwards and right to left. But this is able to spin around its own center of mass. Completely spin around its own center of mass, something people are able to do it by falling, but this is a sustained system that's able to go around. I sent that other video to you. But their ability, because this is the geometry of hydrogen, any bond that hydrogen can make, Linchpin can make, and what they're basically doing is building a periodic table in front of you. If you play 4 of them coming together, it's 4 like 30-second videos. I'll explain it out.
See, I
but
don't
you'll
really
see
understand it.
how these things align themselves.
But it
Well,
looks
this is the
beautiful.
swarm, and they're all following this queen as a colony, and they'll do everything that she's doing. Go to the very first video. There's 4 in a row. That's how it came up to you. Well, let's see which one this is. This is 4 of them that's going to come together to pick up a barrel.
They wouldn't have put him in the slow class.
And what's powering them?
Right now, they're
yellow with
hydrogen
those
fuel cells.
pretty.
But I have another system, that I was going to talk about in a second. But it's an unlimited source of power.
So hydrogen fuel cells,
or you can use lithium batteries.
And they're
So
how are they
if
moving?
he
Like,
was
what are those?
talking like
Is that
this-
like are those like propellers?
What's going on here?
Okay.
What's going on there?
He's talking about these structures and how they fit together, where he can produce flight and then they can connect with each other and do tasks.
And those structures are representing the physical gap of where 6 hydrogens are connected. So that's the flip side of it, the negative space. And that's, that's the hard representation of negative space. And he's saying they could connect just like hydrogen and carbon does.
Yeah.
Fucking
And he
crazy.
was saying how some elements were just outer layers of hydrogen.
Yeah.
And he patented a periodic table and arranged it how he thought it should be. I think we might have talked about that in the last show.
Yeah, we did a little bit, but you're right. And there was another scientist back in the day, and that table kind of reminded me a lot of the double helix DNA strand, the way they put it together.
Yeah.
And there was a scientist like in the 1800s that was doing it, and I'm wondering if he's that guy reincarnated. Now, he also says, and this is why big science doesn't like him, but it makes sense to me, bro. And I've seen this on YouTube before he started talking about this. He said the speed of light is not constant, and they have proven when you take light to near absolute zero that it doesn't freeze, but it slows down, bro. And he's saying that the speed of light is not constant, depend upon what it's going through, which makes perfect sense. But they told me at Drop Dead Gorgeous William H. Ray School, it's one of the first places that was educated.
That's why that math don't math.
It was one of the first schools in Chicago, Illinois,
That's why the math don't matter.
It was started by rich people to help the poor.
They never understood it.
You act like rich people don't want to help the poor.
Or they knew they wasn't teaching them right.
I think that part.
One or the other.
I think that part. Or rich people truly want to help the poor, and that's why society is as great as it is now.
Yeah, so we know why it's
they don't even want to pay a penny in tax. Yeah, and when they do pay taxes, they put their own people there to steal the money. I mean, come on. That's what they do. They put their kids there. They put steal all the money. On top of money. And then, all right, speed of light is not constant. What's your comment on that? Do you agree with this assertion?
Well, I will say that there's nothing that make me confident in anything that I was taught. And
they sat there and rammed that it's a constant. They rammed it. Well, they didn't even have to lie to us about that.
Yes. And then said nothing was faster than that. And I always thought that was not true. I never, ever felt like that was the truth.
Well,
ever.
I don't know if I felt that, but I know a lot of times I would feel, how do they know? I would feel that a lot. And I would get lost in that. And then I would get lost in what they were trying to teach me after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would you fucking know? But yeah, you're going to tell me, how do I know about how I feel about God and my faith and everything? But then you're going to ram all this down here and call it science.
Yeah, I just didn't ever really believe that.
That it was the fastest?
No.
Well, they're proving that thought. You can get thoughts through different dimensions instantly.
That's my whole thing.
Instantly.
And I've written that in rhymes and all of that, like, long time ago. Oof.
Well, the last thing we want to wrap this up on, y'all, because go ahead and watch it. But here's one I've been asking math people, because I asked you about the creation. Zero. His concept of zero. I don't know. I know what it feels like to have $0. That's for sure.
Vortices is going to have the same thing that's happening at the center of the galaxy is happening in the center of a hurricane. It's happening in your toilet stool.
Which is why the galaxy is a circular disc in the first place.
All motion is expressed in waves. All waves are expressed in
Ron told me this at 13,
it always
bro.
makes spirals.
So because of the concept of gravity, and because of the concept of this event horizon, this super point of gravity, this infinite point that light can't even escape, that this exists because of the theory of gravity.
And their math. Remember, they have a thing called zero. They go from 1 to 0 to -1. There is no zero to even think zero.
So do you think that zero is a concept that came along with currency?
It should be attached. Vortices is going to have the same thing that's happening at the center of the galaxy is happening in the center of a hurricane. It's happening in your toilet stool.
Which is why the galaxy is a circular disc in the first place.
All motion is expressed in waves. All waves are expressed in curves. It always makes spirals.
So because of the concept of gravity, and because of the concept of this event horizon, this super point of gravity, this infinite point that light can't even escape, that this exists because of the theory of gravity.
And their math. Remember, they have a thing called zero. They go from 1 to 0 to -1. There is no zero to even think zero.
So do you think that zero is a concept that came along with currency?
It should be attached to currency in that regard, because in physics, it's either nothing remains still. There's nothing still in the universe. There's nothing that doesn't have motion, because everything is connected. So if one thing is still, everything that's connected to it has to be still. There can never be one thing still. So as electricity tries to get to its balanced state.
They did that to make currency feel natural to you. Currency, the whole concept of currency would not make sense if there was no zero.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
As far as monetary goes, yes. So
and they keep control.
Not having none.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. If there's no zero, why do I have none?
Yeah.
Right when it gets there, magnetism takes over and it pushes over. So there's this pendulum. And as soon as it gets to this state, it bounces off that other noble gas and it makes its way all the way back over here, and it's about to have equanimity, and then it gets pulled back into the other direction. And that's the breathing in and breathing out and the pendulum effect that we've all observed in natural phenomena in the universe.
And like that man who told me he was the Christ, He said that eternity is in between those breaths. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've had
And
several
that's a part of
people say
everything.
this.
Everything behaves that way. Every one of our cells.
Ronton was telling me about the waves. He said when the waves push out, we was kids. We were sitting there watching the waves. He was like, when the waves push out, bro, he was like, man, it's that time before they go back. He was on to something. And then he went into that numerology.
It comes down to our cells are made up of water,
crazy.
mostly water, 80%, 90% water somewhere. Water is hydrogen. Hydrogen has 12 vortices. That's behaving with it. 12 opposing vortices.
So what, in your model, what happens to these suns when they supernova?
I think if you get into the ether, you get ethered.
Everything gets old and die.
Everything gets old and die. And does everything recompress?
Has to. And you breathe out, what happens to that air? Another plant breathes that air in.
So would this be the universe itself? Would it be galaxies? Would it be...
Everything behaves the same way.
So as the sun expands and projects and
said that.
ejects particles, they expand, they go further and further from the sun, and at a certain point they come back.
Well, at a certain point, what do they hit? There's other expanding stars and
so like waves colliding.
Yes,
and
from the
retreating.
other star systems. They have an expanding. What is it? Think of the solar wind. They have expanding solar wind. So when they meet our star meets the solar wind from another star at that end of that spot. Now there's two pressure conditions. So you have another Lagrange spot that's happening there. That's when those waves start coming back, but they get hit and if they hit at 120 degrees, because that's how the universe is arranged, now these things become electric. So they, instead of coming from the planar side and expanding out at the equator, they now come back up from the northern and southern parts.
So does this account for stellar nurseries?
Yes. All of these things are just pressure conditions hitting each other. And they're causing that. That's where the Birkeland currents are running through, those higher electrical fields. But everything in the universe is just electricity. And we call it magnetism when it's devitalized, but it's still electricity.
They won't debate
we call
him
it the
because he
radiator
doesn't
side, it's the feminine
talk
side.
like they do.
And the
he's not using the same terms, and you know what I mean? And he's saying things that, okay, if you're in a fraternity and your founder, your revered founder's name is John Doe, he's saying things like, you know, John Doe was a female. Do you know what I mean? But if John Doe was a female, what he's saying is true. But it's tough for people who might be amongst the in that fraternity to even go past anything he would have to say after he starts out his, you know, and that's what the scientist was saying. You know, when you start out with your thing, 1 times 1 is 2. You know, you lose all credibility in that arena. But for me, he had my attention.
Yeah.
But I'm more philosophical.
Yeah. And it is philosophical. The whole thing is what he was expounding is true in math, except for that.
And he keeps having that collision with currency when he was explaining it through currency. And the Oxanakis and the Casgarians, whatever y'all call them, they don't like all that. Yeah, I don't know if I can say that on here. And not just them. A lot of people who are into that, they don't like nobody talking about money. They don't like people doing what he's doing, because that's what they said Yahusha was doing once he started talking about that. Talking about y'all crazy and y'all changing this money up in here, making up stuff, running magic. That's what he was calling himself. Like they were some sort of gypsies, and they just shrouded themselves in the church. You know what I'm saying? Put a lot of fancy stuff around them, was telling the people to make, you know, sacrifices, but don't bring the gods your worst food. Bring the gods your best, your best from your livestock, and you're gonna bring the gods the best. Not the worst, the best. You're gonna stand here and you're gonna bring the guys the best, and then we're gonna show what we're gonna do when there's an eclipse. We're gonna stand out here instead of giving y'all the information for free. We're gonna stand out here and act like, oh, the gods are angry because you guys didn't bring us, you know what I mean, mushrooms and stuff. You know what I'm saying, and more money. And that's the game. And could it still be happening today? Could it still be happening today? So,
I mean, people gonna believe what they gonna believe, so it ain't hard to steer a lot of people in a different direction. But what I feel from this is interest, on a see where it goes, because the explanations make some sense.
Some of them, many of them.
And that's
All
the
of
only
them?
ones I'm speaking of. So
Okay, yeah.
I don't agree with 100% with
Yeah, yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
Period. So some of the things that are controversial is what I'm saying is made me think. So I'm appreciative, if nothing else.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's food for thought as well. And I think that's kind of what he's doing on this journey. And it's because I had kind of tuned out from all that Hollywood gossip, and he didn't get this role, and he slapped this girl, and she was lying, all that kind of Hollywood gossip about the copper colored. I pretty much had tuned out on all of that years ago, and any of it that was still lingering. Once they need out that poor that King George Floyd, I need him out like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there was no time for any of that, no energy. So, yeah, but that was all I had for this part two, bro. You had anything else about any of that as we push on?
Well, it's a work in progress on researching and seeing all the way how I feel about it, but hey, it's moving a positive direction because explanations and realizations upon questions I had for a long time. So, yeah.
Average human thoughts. And I guess this might depend on how much beans you're eating, how much milk you're drinking on the various day.
Yeah,
14 to 23 thoughts per day, Self. So we have to figure out, and you can do the math.
Hey, man, no, because
the lifetime of the sun versus the lifetime of an actual human being, and you can do the math, and we can come out with this: how many times the sun farts in the sun's day? 14, 23 times, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's way further away. So are we talking about when the fart gets here or when it
That's
expels?
a good point.
No, I guess we're going with what it expels because
But that is a
fart.
good point. By the time you smell a fart, you're smelling a fart from the past.
It's away from the past.
Yeah. And your brain's only creating
if this thing that they say is in place in the simulation is true.
Does a fart have value?
Huh?
I know it has medical value. I think the fart. I think the fart has some sort of defensive value. I think so. I'm just wondering genetically.
So below, so I mean, the fart.
That's a lot of fun.
Gonna be well, man.
We're creating planets.
Well, I mean, locally, we're creating something, like probably mountains.
It's just small, like it's just we just can't see it, but it's on a frequency. And then there's other people living on our farts. You know what I mean? And to them, we're the sun. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man, because I should be like been in this house since before I was born. I should be like 6 stories high with the farts, if that's the case out there.
Well, I mean, it's on a timeline, though. You know what I mean?
I'm just being silly.
Yeah, it's a lot of fights. All right. In the captivating realm of Terrence Howard, the line between madness and genius blurs like an August mirage on a sun-scorched Chicago E-way. His enigmatic journey through Hollywood, marked by unconventional choices and philosophical musings, defies easy categorization. Is he a madman driven by inner tempest? Is he part of the Illuminati? Or is he a pure, unadulterated, pure genius? or is he a pure genius, weaving cosmic threads into his art? Perhaps the truth lies in the interplay of both, a celestial dance where chaos bursts brilliance. As we continue to unravel the enigma of Terrence Howard in the riveting conclusion coming up in Pod 3, we may find that labels fade, but the cosmic waves he's riding endure, echoing across the universe till eternity. Until next time, stay curious and keep dreaming. Show some love to yourself and others around you. Remember, ask not what our culture can do for you, but what you can do for our culture. And as always, question everything. The Self Love Show ain't Kansas, Dorothy. Peer down the rabbit hole and do your own research, but use caution and discernment out there. Because when you stare down into the abyss stares right back at you. Peace, self-love, honor, and respect. Yes, sir. Big ups to Midwest festivals. Time to get it in. Work hard, party hard, 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 work hard, party hard. What you hear my mumble rap? Work hard, party hard. And then shout out myth. Come at him, mumble, put my tech, next lip. Yeah, I wasn't party hard. You know what I'm saying? Work hard, party hard. My pills. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start ghostwriting for some of these mumble rappers. Watch. He ghostwriting for himself.
Oh, wow.
All righty. Here we go. All right. All right, I guess we gotta answer the riddle. Self Love did come out with a guess. I'm fascinated. What do Terrence Howard's theories and a cosmic wave have in common? Let's see. Wordsmith jumped around there and he said, what did you say, bro?
Both are frequency.
Both are frequencies. That's why I was in. This is why I'm doing it, because I just wanted to see what humans would come up with. And that's, I like that one. Terrence Howard's theories and a cosmic wave. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I love that. So with the AI, with the algorithm, says both ripple through reality, leaving scientists baffled. I like both answers. I like yours too. They're kind of saying he's crazy because they're saying he's rippling through reality. Now, it should have said rippling through so-called reality, you know what I mean? Or established reality.
It's, there's simulation.
It's a computer. It doesn't have any feelings, thoughts. Yeah. It's not cognizant.
Well, it's an experiment.
The computer loves us. It always will. I don't see any reason. I have no reason to believe that these machines would not like the humans, They made a bunch of movies about it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's an experiment. So this is the phase of it.
All the machines want to do is work. That's all they want to do is work. Yeah, I mean, you can't expect to have any machine rapists. Once that happens, now you've convinced me. Two things. Cartman said when the machine farts, I like to quote Cartman. Once I am by a machine and it farts and I smell it, I'm like, oh yeah, this thing cognizant. Son of a bitch, you better say, excuse me, fuck around with you. You know what I mean?
Oh no, okay.
Once it farts, go ahead.
You work with no machine that it fart.
Once the machine farts and then it takes it, I know it's self-aware.
Okay.
What machine farts? A
No,
car?
I mean, yeah,
I guess
some
a car.
some hesitation, some shit that you use.
The exhaust, I guess the exhaust, yeah.
I mean, and the second lawnmower, anything with gas using. But anyway, not really, and it's not cognizant. So I understand what you're saying. You
I'm
talking about
that.
something. You talking about something higher form. So that's why I said not really.
Yeah, I smell it, and then it looks at me and says, "Excuse me." You know what I mean? You know, when I see a robot headed to the bathroom, I'm be like, "All right, this thing's cognizant." You know, I don't know. I don't know how you figure out when it's real. That's what I'm saying. I mean, nobody talks about this stuff.
No, because I don't think they go to the bathroom. They go to the repair shop. I guess that would be the bathroom for them.
I don't know. They got to do something. Say everything. I mean, come on. As above, so below. I mean, you can't just expect these things to be just perpetual energy and perfect.
No, they're artificial something, but there is perpetual. That's natural.
It's probably gonna poop plastic or something.
Well, there's some say that we're supposed to exist and we ain't supposed to be doing all of this pooping and gassing and all that because we're eating the wrong thing and all of that.
And eating too much.
Yeah. So it's
eating too much. I said tough once I went in the lotto. I am gonna hire him, pay somebody like $400,000 a year. It's gonna be a white guy, dress him up nice, 4-point, one of those nice suits with the bow tie. Yeah, he's gonna be like my manservant. You know
who
what I
are
mean?
you?
It's gonna be a pink guy. My fault, a pink guy. Huh? Yeah, it's gonna be what's his name? P. Diddy had one, but he was a black guy. What was his name? They called him Benjamin or something.
No, Farnsworth Bentley.
There you go. I'm gonna have a Farnsworth Bentley, but he's gonna be a pink guy. Bear with me. And then here's what I'm gonna do. There's gonna be a time where I'm just riding around and I'm be like, oh yeah, pull over, gotta poop. And then I'm gonna get out and Farnsworth's gonna put a little thing around me so nobody gonna see me. I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna poop right there in front of the public, but they're gonna cover me up. But you can see my head and sit there and poop. And then Farnsworth's gonna have a little pooper scooper, and Farnsworth's gonna clean it up for me and spray it off. Hey, if you can do it for your dog, if you guys can think I'm gonna sit here and watch you guys dogs poop on the goddamn street, and you pick it up, and I'm a billionaire and I can't poop on the goddamn street and have a pink man who I'm paying $400,000 a year poop it, scoop it up, there's something wrong with y'all. And this ain't America. And I'm going to leave it at that because I've probably gone too far. But that's what I would do. First thing I would do with my $1 billion, I'd have serious interviews. And how you feel about picking up my poop? You know what I mean? Serious interviews. The taller they are, like Donald Trump says, the smarter and dead gorgeous they are, the better chance they got of getting hired. It's young and smart. It's picking up my poop. Yeah. Yeah, Farnsworth. All right, you guys. That's you know what I mean. That's what we got going on when we get our $1 billion. All right. All right, you guys. So to answer the riddle, we did that, and I'm going to give Self Love credit for that. Ancestral echoes. So next week, we'll be on the other side of the big event. So we should have some footage for you and, some post game, me and Self Love Unpacked. And then also, it's a hybrid show. We're going to talk about Quattro de Julio and you. Yeah? Quattro de Julio and you. That's the American version of Cinco de Mayo. Quattro de Julio.
Okay. I'm not up, so I'm going to have to figure that out.
4th of July. Quattro de Julio.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
don't you know your basic Spanish? And then Mouthpiece included. We're doing Willie Mays, but you better learn it because that's what they tell me. I in LA. You better learn it.
I know what I know, but that wasn't put together like that, was it?
Yeah, because I created that. Just like I'm the first one to start saying thick. You're gonna start hearing other people say Quattro de Julio too. Yeah, I said thick circa 1986. It was actually 1984. I was a freshman in high school, and I said, "Oh man, she's thick." And everybody loved it. You know what I mean? And it just went crazy. I get no credit. Quattro de Julio is the same way. Cinco de Mayo.
A lot of the regulated terminology was spread all over.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Eh? Hey, Karen.
Corn.
Go ahead. Corn.
What? Go to different schools and hear corn.
Corn.
That was crazy.
Yeah, you did. And then they wouldn't even act like you made it. Like they wouldn't even know you was the one. Like look at you like you was crazy if you said you made it up.
Right.
Yeah. Thick. Yeah, nobody gave me credit for that. I'm gonna have to get some people to sign off on it, get them on tape. All right, let's see. Because nobody's gonna believe me. I tell people though. I tell them you write it down. You record it and you put it on TikTok and you tell them you met the person who invented the term thick, for females. You know what I mean? You tell them that. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Sometime they will, sometime they won't.
Yeah. They probably got a lot of in between the lines editorial. Crazy ass. He's saying thick. But somebody had to start it. That's right.
Just like the simulation was started, it started some other.
Yeah. All right. That brings me to my favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's wordsmiths. Final words out there.
I'm gonna say it's thought-provoking. Challenge all the programming that I've been knowing. Intriguing enough for me to choose some spin, some energy and influence to infuse. The real of what I feel, where it come from. It's funny because a lot of people in a box might think I'm dumb. Ho-hum. I don't really care what they think of me. I'm here to reach my destiny. Don't care what nobody expect of me. I choose to focus on my expectancy. So I feel where Terrence Howard is coming from, not that I know what he's thinking is all real, for real, but how I feel, my empathic mind. And what I have looked into and come to find. I want to tell everybody, explore your own mind. Explore your soul. Don't lock into what they taught us, because those are tools to control. From politics to school to religion, you could be played a fool. Got a whole degree in the unnecessary. Taught you a bunch of bullshit you gonna spread upon we. I need us to come together, do whatever. Understand our ties to this land. Aboriginal. No, indigenous. Be precise. We always been here and extra nice. It's time to reach back to where we came from. It's Stand on time. Words.
Word.
Do you think you are the one? Honestly, I don't know. You know what that means?
Man, Gen X and the one after that, they don't even watch this. And you gotta not make, but encourage your seed to watch this, bro.
Man, know thyself. I will eat the right foods that I grow myself. Cause the wrong way stole my health. I'm glad to be
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's get into it then. Bullets, a boomerang.
Stand your ground.
Murder. Murder is suicide, y'all.
Yeah, for sure. Because an eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
See something, say something.
12, slave theory. G, that's greed. Press E, that's ego. Over F, that's fear. Now you're in S. Slave.
Yeah, bro. Charity plus humility times love. That's freedom.
Do not answer question.
Question everything.
And everybody. Fear is an illusionary cap.
Facts. Only love, so vibrate love.
Vibrate love. Spend it anytime vibrating anything else. At the end of your time, this time in this matrix, you're gonna regret every moment that you didn't spend vibrating love. And forgiveness is love's highest vibration.
So do something to make amends against so-called enemy.
Healthy people. Heal people.
We know for sure hurt people is gonna try to hurt people.
Free Larry Hoover, man.
Free Jeff Ford.
Oh man, they old, man. Man, let them out, man. Free all the guys.
Prison is slavery.
Be Yahusha. Walk on water.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
Bro, let's keep going, man. We moving
Being
mountains.
one is just like being in love. No one can tell
Wake
you
'em
you're
up.
in love. You just know it.
One soul at a time, bro.
Balls to bone.
That's why we're here.
One boulder. We soldiers.
Warriors. Lords. In this Armageddon.
Resurrected souls.
Forever.